all the bits, juice with all the bits, it's a podcast.
Hi everyone, I'm Meg.
And this is Daniel.
And you're listening to Juice with All the Bits. We've got a really exciting episode ahead for you.
Yes, thank you all very much for joining us for another episode. Today we've got two really exciting guests here with us. We've got Rebecca Parker. Hi Rebecca, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm good, thank you.
Good. Thank you for joining us. Yes, thanks. Got Jack Miller here with us today. How are you, Jack? How are you?
Yeah, good. Really good. I'm excited to be part of this.
Good. Thank you very much both for joining us. To tell the audience who Jack and Becca are, they both work for an organization called Tangerine, which the Juice Academy are a part of, or an extension of. So these guys actually teach us some of the sessions to us, the apprentices, here at the Juice Academy. But a funny little insight, which we'll be diving into this episode, is that they were actually apprentices themselves. So they've completed the program, have kind of went on to do their careers, and then decided to tutor at the academy to teach the apprentices some of the curriculum. So, as always, we'll be starting with our apprentice highlight.
Yes, so each episode we do an apprentice highlight to just showcase amazing things that our apprentices are getting up to. So today's apprentice highlight goes to Jade Nixon. So she's recently got a new employer and she's doing incredibly well in her new role. So we're really proud of her. So well done, Jade.
Shout out, Jade. Well done. Awesome. So as always, without further ado, we'll jump straight into the questions.
So first, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what led you to being here with us today? So Jack,
go
first,
Jack. So I started at school, really. I was speaking about this before, actually. It's a bit weird. We were talking about like how we sort of got into the industry, and I come around when the BBC was just sort of getting built. So at school, it was like party picking your GCSEs, you know, your SATs and stuff like that. Yeah. Sorry, GCSEs. What were they called? Your No, you had to pick like certain subjects to go through.
Your options?
Yeah, options, that was it. Yeah. So you had to pick your options, and it was like always have PE, history, and I was like, that's so boring. But then there was creative media diploma because it was linked then with the BBC. It was sort of schools were sort of getting these fundings to try and get to boost sort of like the sort of sector in the area. So I thought I just went for it. So I started doing the creative media diploma, went all the way through university, but just sort of struggled then after leaving university. So it was that bit where everybody sort of was going for the same jobs in the same area. So everybody instantly went to the BBC, and I was just like fighting with hundreds of other students, and it just was going nowhere. So then it was sort of like speak of being an apprentice, being at university to then going to the apprentice, because it was like you're taking a massive backward step and you're starting to like learning again. But it was at that time I just thought, I'm gonna just go for it. What else can I lose? And then so the rest was kind of history, as you would say.
Oh, amazing. Becca, what about you?
Mine was a little bit different. So I did the same, came through GCSEs, stayed at my school to do sixth form and did my A-levels, had like a career in mind. I was going to be a physio, and then got to the end of my A-levels and had just kind of fallen out with that idea. I was a little bit done with the same education that I'd had for years at that point, and didn't want to go to university because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and it just felt like a waste of 3 years to come out at the end and still be in the same position where I was like, I don't know what I want to do, like now what? So instead of applying for universities and kind of doing what everyone else was doing with their personal statements, I looked on the apprenticeship website and just had a look at different things that were out there, the different qualifications that you needed for things, and found the Juice Academy. Looking for a few different roles really. So at the time there were a few different companies that had advertised, applied for one of them, came to the bootcamp day, and then same, the rest is history.
So what cohort were you in?
2.
2, right from the beginning. And then were you
Cohort
in 17, Jack?
18.
Oh, 18.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was 28. And you're in...
Yeah, I'm in cohort 37.
Oh, what
Yeah.
a range. What a range.
That's crazy. It's quite interesting to hear how both of you, I suppose, some time ago found the Juice Academy, because it would be maybe different to how we come across it now. But maybe if we rewind back to kind of where it all started, like you said, how was your apprenticeship, Jack? Let's start with you. How was your general apprenticeship experience?
Yeah, for me, so I say this in like one of my sessions, I felt at the time I was a little bit old to be doing an apprenticeship, and I wasn't. I was like 24, but all my friends around me were like getting ready to be managers, to be like settling in jobs, and was earning really good money, and I was just like, I applied for this apprenticeship. I had to stop all like my savings for the house. I had to stop kind of like the going out thing, and it was like kind of one of them like last chance saloon for me. It was like I need to just get my head down and just go for it. So it was, my apprenticeship was like, I think I got a lot out of it because I just wanted everything. I just said yes to absolutely everything. I was doing stuff that I was absolutely like petrified to do, but I just felt like I needed to do it to be able to like sort of not race at the top, but like race to get the most out of it. So yeah, I think my apprenticeship journey was like, I really rave about the Juice because it did generally change my life. Like it changed me, got me back on that career path where I had no idea where it was in that sense. And it just helped me find it, and now I'm just like sort of going with it. So yeah, I think my apprenticeship was great. Yeah,
I remember seeing loads of like things that you did with like going on, like talking. Was it with the Northwest? Northwest.
Yeah, so I was part of the Northwest Apprenticeship Ambassador Network. So it's basically just a network of apprentices all around the Northwest. So I was just travelling around talking to them. But there was a lot of like talking involved because I was trying to promote apprenticeships as a whole rather than just the Juice Academy. But so my thing was promoting the Juice Academy, but as it obviously promoting it to everybody as well. But yeah, it was talking in front of a lot of people, and like one of them was talking in front of like the MPs and stuff like that. And obviously Sandy, at that time I was trying to impress Sandy to get that job. So she was there and she's like, go and do it. And I was like, yeah, because you felt like you needed to, but it was just like, it was one of the most scariest things of my life. But honestly, it was brilliant. It was like, I'm so glad I did it. And it was always funny at the time. It was like I was on a Mac and all I had to do was put my PowerPoint on the screen, and I couldn't do it. I forgot how to put this like as a widescreen, and I was like, don't know what I'm doing, and everyone started laughing, and I was like, oh God, like I've royally messed this up here. But it was just, it got that laugh out of the way, and it kind of like made me settle, and then it was great. And yeah, it was such a good thing for me to do, and it was out of my comfort zone, which is also a great thing to do. It's just, I got out of it instantly and it was done. You know, it was, I could go then, I could just do whatever I wanted because I felt like I've done that now, so that's it. That's what else could be harder than that?
Yeah.
So
that's all it takes really, is the initial kind of like ripping the band-aid off with those areas, like when you're outside of your comfort zone, and then you're just like, oh, so it's not that bad. Oh, really interesting. How about for you, Becca? What would you say? How was your apprenticeship?
Very similar, really. A little bit different in the respect that because all of my friends were going to uni, a lot of them were very much like off partying, like out every night. They had no money, whereas I was like coming to work every day and doing my commute and getting a wage at the end of the month. And I was kind of the one that they were like, oh, like she's really serious, she's got the job and stuff. And it's like, I never lost the bit where it was like going out and doing things like that. I just had more money to do it than what they did. But in terms of the actual apprenticeship, it was very much the same. Like the tutors that we had around us and having Sandy in our corner and like pushing us to do them opportunities, giving us them opportunities in the first place and coming to us and being like, we've got this, do you want to go and do it? Doing the careers fairs and speaking to other people, like it's so rewarding, and it makes you stop and think about just how much you've actually learnt yourself as well, because like you'll just talk about it naturally and you're like, I actually know what I'm talking about, and it just builds your confidence, and a bit like Jack said, just putting yourself out there and doing it has been so worthwhile, because we've now got skills that people coming into the industry and they maybe don't have them as much because they've not had them opportunities, they've just learned it through lectures and things like that. So we're very much at the forefront of everything that's happening because we learn it on the job, and we continue to keep up to date with it on the job rather than learning through a textbook. I
think with that as well is that the industry changes that much, and I think for me, I've come from university and then done the apprenticeship. When I was at university, I was like learning off one camera, and that was the camera I had from the start to the end. But when I come into the industry, I got given like the camera, and I was like, I have no idea how to use that. Like, what is that? Like the camera I used was like an XL, massive over the shoulder, and they come in and I got one of these little DSLRs, like, that's just a camera, like I can take a picture. But that's just the way I looked at it. It's like the industry changes that much. It's like at university, within the industry we're in, you're kind of running out of time with what you've got, because they could just give you that thing. You've got a semester to work on it, but then by the end of that semester, everything's changed. So like Adobe's changing like weekly, monthly. So that's what it was like. Apprenticeship for this industry, like specifically, it's just like is the way forward for it. It's like because you're learning constantly with what's changing. Like for us as tutors, we've got to change our sessions because they change. So we can't go do like one session 1 month and then do it the same next month because Adobe's had a massive update. So it's like
so fast paced.
But that's exactly right with what you're saying. It's you're at the forefront of it, and that's what we are as an apprentice. You're at the forefront rather than being a student. You're just sort of like lagging behind a little bit.
And especially when I came into the apprenticeship as well, like literally 10 years ago, there weren't very many digital natives within marketing because it was so new. Whereas like me and you have grown up with it. Like we got Facebook at 13 years old and have had every bit of social media since, so we know exactly what we're doing. We knew what we were doing before we started Juice, and then Juice gave us the additional skills and knowledge that we needed to turn it into a career and not just something that we mindlessly scroll every day. So yeah, being able to support other people in building their knowledge as well, in terms of speaking to our employers and stuff, is you wouldn't get that anywhere else.
So fast forwarding to now, what does your roles entail now?
So again, like it's changed that much. So I still do a lot of filming, but COVID changed my job role quite a lot. So I was basically a studio assistant, so I was just doing any videoing and any little basic editing. But then COVID happened, and like, there's a computer, go home and learn. Like basically, you've got to do everything. So I was like, oh crap! Like, I have no idea what After Effects is. I don't really use Illustrator, but it's like you've got to go and do it. Because like mine was based on video, edit Premiere, little basic editing, any audio, and then it's done. So now my job role's motion designer, so it's quite a lot of people's jobs changed. So it was like graphic design was like one side of it, video was one, and then they just sort of merged everything. It was like it's motion, like that's graphic design, animation, anything like that. So so sort of COVID kind of helped, and I found the positives of COVID basically. I went home and I had a lot of time to learn. And YouTube was like my best friend, and I say this in my sessions, it's like everything is on YouTube. So, I didn't have the money to spend a lot of money on like courses, elsewhere. So I just was like just trying to find different things, and I basically did self-teach myself how to use like After Effects in Illustrator. And now at the minute I'm doing the same thing for 3D. I'm still doing it. Like even though I can pay for stuff, I'm like, why pay for it? It's on YouTube. I'll do it. So I'm learning 3D on YouTube. So it's just like sort of adapting. But that's my role now. It's just like a bit of everything really. It's just again still saying yes to stuff that I probably can't do, but I'm just like, I can do it. Crap. I'll find a way.
What about you, Becca?
So I'm an account director now. I work on the client services team on B2B in Tangerine, so very much a part of building that team, leading that team, supporting the guys around me, working with clients to sort of build their strategies, implement them strategies, keep them testing, keep them learning, and keep bringing them along on the journey with us in terms of evolution and trying new things. So long road since apprentice to now.
Oh, that's so much fun. As somebody who's new to this world and kind of is learning all about it, strategizing I find so much fun to like get involved in like building those foundations and then
100%. And working with creative teams like Jack's team in the studio and our creatives and the Intel team, just bouncing different ideas off each other is so like worthwhile.
We're very lucky with that, aren't we? In a sense, like because if you've got a question and you have no idea, like I had one the other day where it was like basically the size of an image, but we didn't know it, so we had to go to Intel who do all of that side. And it's like when you go to that team, it's like, oh, they give you something and you're like, oh, they'll go and speak to this team, and you're like, by the time you've got like your own little team, like you're all trying to figure out this one solution, but you've got that many people around you. It's we all kind of like work together really closely, and being back in the office helps as well.
So much,
Oh, nice one. So now you've told us kind of about your apprenticeship experience, a bit about what you do in your roles today. So I suppose what's led you to becoming a tutor at the Juice Academy? So how about we start with you, Jack, for this one?
Well, I was kind of lucky enough that somebody left. So I was somebody left and they needed this, obviously this session taken over, and I was like, should I do it? Should I not? Should I do it? And then George just sort of was like, come on, you can do it. Still pushing me to be able to say you can do it. So I just, again, chucked myself in, did it. I hated the first session I did because I was like, when you walk out of something, like they hated me. And then I got like really good reviews. I was like, oh, that is good. It was one of them. But it was kind of, just filling in for somebody who left, and I'm kind of glad that I picked it up, really. It was good. I'm still adapting it, but it's good.
I became a tutor quite a few years ago with another apprentice called Nathan, who's still at Tangerine. He was cohort 3, I think. And Sandy asked both of us at the same time if we wanted to be tutors and kind of join that side of the programme, because we'd completed our apprenticeship and we'd both been kept on at Tangerine. But our Tangerine team was evolving and growing in terms of our specialisms and what we could offer as an agency, but the dues scheme was changing at the same time as well, and we were offering more in terms of the syllabus and the knowledge that we could pass on to the apprentices that were coming through the programme. So yeah, the team of tutors sort of expanded, and Sandy asked us to be part of it, and both of us jumped at the chance, but with a little bit of nervousness. A bit like you, it's a bit like, oh, can I do it? Like, this is really out of my comfort zone, but you've just got to do it. And like I say, the more that you speak about it, the more that you realise, like, I actually do know this. Like, I've been taught by the best people, and now I'm going to take that through and support the apprentices that are coming through. It's so worthwhile.
What is it that you both teach?
So I taught, my first one's a bit weird. It's sort of like the, what do they call that? It's just sort of my juice journey, basically. Inspiration session, we call it, which is dead cringe because I'm not really that inspirational, but it's more just sort of, because I got quite a lot out of my apprenticeship, so it's sort of like telling people that, in a sense. And then now I do imaging software as well, so I'm like the first sort of like bit where the tutors get their hands dirty, I guess, on like the imaging software that is out there.
Yeah, I'm at the start of the programme as well. So I've done a few over the years, but at the minute I'm doing the importance of brand and how to budget.
Amazing.
In life, because I could do that.
I could do it in life.
There any tips?
Alrighty, so to switch it up a little bit, we wanted to kind of get into maybe some of your favourite moments here at the Juice Academy. So what have been some highlights for yourselves? Becca, I'll throw this one. What have been some nice moments to look back on?
Oh, there's so many moments. I think the very first moment was getting the apprenticeship, because Sandy was one of the people that was like interviewing on the day of my boot camp, so I was like, oh my god, this person's like really important. So I was like one of the last people to be told whether they got a job or not. And I just remember ringing everyone on my way home and being like, oh my god, I got the job, and like being chuffed with myself. Then a year later, being kept on with Tangerine, like passing my apprenticeship, being kept on, like being given the opportunity to carry on working and carry on progressing. I mean, that was 9 years ago, so there's a lot that's happened. But I think joining the board that launched the network, the Northwest Apprenticeship Ambassadors Network, like just being part of that, like speaking to other apprentices from companies like AstraZeneca, the Co-op, like United Utilities, like being part of a big team, getting on stage in the UK Fast offices, like they've got this big auditorium, and speaking in front of literally hundreds of apprentices about me and about what I do and like my tips. Like, I just remember being stood on that stage and thinking, this is insane. Like, a few years ago I would never have done this, but the Juice Academy has given me the confidence and the skills to be able to stand up here and speak about stuff that I know. Like, I will always be proud of that and being part of that network.
Amazing. What about you, Jack?
Yeah, I really similar, to be honest, because I sort of carried on the network when Becca sort of left, so I ran all the social media for it. So with that, it was like events and stuff like that. So it was from organising my first event with all the network of all apprentices and ambassadors themselves. So the ambassadors were kind of like the company, like the people who take on the apprentices from the companies. So it was organising that event, which was really good. But then, getting up in front of the MPs, there was like 300 and odd people for the Northern Powerhouse. Northern Powerhouse, it was like 350 people or something like that. So it was on the day, I didn't even know I was going to be doing that. I just turned up thinking I was part of this like networking group, and then next minute I was like in front of everybody. I was like, what is just, how is this? Yeah, this is escalated really quickly, but you know, when you take sort of like, when you sit down and sort of like take it all in, it's like, I've just done that, and you take so much pride on yourself, and it's confidence, like, because I never really had that much confidence in being able to do that, but now just being, I still obviously get butterflies when you got to like teach and stuff like that, but you just got to like think back on that, you're like, I did that, so what else can go wrong, you know? I've done it now. So yeah, that's probably the most proudest thing.
Oh, nice. I really like that. I feel like from both of yourselves, what I've kind of picked up on is like that after doing the apprenticeship, like you are now doing things that you could never have imagined, like, you know, like, and I think that's so amazing that like that, you know, by doing the apprenticeship, by saying yes to these opportunities, you're able to kind of grow and progress and things like that.
How do you overcome challenging situations at work? So whether this is like personally for you or any advice to current apprentices, what would you say? Becca,
just communicate. Yeah, communication's pretty key, and you sort of like get that, don't you? You've got to literally. It can be daunting to say something, but it's definitely communicate. I think with us, with Tangerine's employee owned, so everybody's sort of like in it together. So, you know, if there's something that you don't feel comfortable doing, there's always somebody who does. So, and they'd instead of being like they'll do it for you, they'll guide you through it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So don't feel scared to say anything, because you'll be all right.
Yeah, always ask the question, because nothing will go wrong from you saying, I don't quite know what I'm doing here. Please, could you help me?
Yeah, some people some people
get
get scared asking questions, but I suppose that's, you just never know if you don't ask, and you never get that help.
It doesn't matter who you ask either. Like, a lot of people are scared of asking like the boss.
Yeah.
You know, so but the boss is there for like the highest person in the company. If you ask them a question, they would happily tell you.
Yeah.
So don't be scared to do that. Like, you know, ask anybody.
Yeah, I think one of the best pieces of advice that we get as apprentices, and I think it actually comes from Sandy, is to always be a sponge. Like, you will learn so much from so many different people, no matter what level they're at or where they're at in their career. So just speak to them, like, have a normal conversation with them, because you'll learn so much without even necessarily realising that you're learning a lot. But yeah, communication is massive in terms of just helping each other through it.
Yeah, definitely. What would your well, we've kind of done a bit of advice, but what would your general advice be to someone starting a new workplace?
It's kind of similar. So I think one of the good things about Tangerine is that there's lots of different departments and skill sets and specialisms, and just be involved in all of them. Like, just spend a day with someone that you maybe wouldn't spend a day with, and learn a bit more about them and what they do, and just kind of pick up on how they work, 'cause it might help you in your career or in something that you're looking to do. And then just say yes to as much as possible, even if it feels really uncomfortable, because we felt uncomfortable saying yes to some of the things that we said yes to, and they're the proudest moments that we've had.
Actually, I was just a yes person. I just said yes to absolutely everything, whether I could do it or couldn't. It was just like,
I would learn on the go.
Yeah, it's like,
I'll wing it.
say yes now, think about the consequences later. So, but it's just one of them, like, be interested, be interested in everything. Like, nobody will be ever like, if you come and sat next to me and you was like, oh, what are you doing? I wouldn't be like, oh, go away. Like, I'll be, you know, that's what the industry. Absolutely. And you're not, like, even though you're not a tutor, we've got people who's in our studio who teach me stuff. So if I'm teaching something and somebody asks me a question, I'll be like to an apprentice, oh, I actually don't know, but give me your email and I'll go and find out. And you know, you're always learning. Everybody's learning. So it's not like it's a bad thing if you want to come and ask me a question. I might not know the answer, but I won't find out, because it'll bug me if I don't. So, but yeah, just that's mine. Is say yes and be interested. Is like the main.
Love that. Strong statement.
And keep wanting to learn as well, because like we said, the industry is so fast paced. It can be easy to be left behind. So just keep.
Never stop learning.
You know, one thing we mentioned in past episodes is like keeping an open mind, because that's how you'll maybe come across things that you never knew that you would like or really want to do, you know, and by keeping an open mind, give it a go. And
there's that many paths to take as well in this industry, because like
100%.
obviously we started in the exact same apprenticeship, but we're in totally different sides of the business. But there's nothing to say that you might be like, oh, you know what, I actually really do like design, and one day, in about 2 years' time, 3 years' time, whatever, you might be in the studio and I'll be B2B. But that's, we'll swap, we'll job swap. But no, that's we've seen people who've come in as community managers and ended up in like the design studio. So there's that many different ways you can go. It's endless. So you could go to every department and still not be bored. You know,
But that's what's also so exciting, is that because of how much digital is changing, there's constantly new things coming up. So it keeps us on our toes, I think.
There's new roles being made as well. Like, we've just got a guy called TikTok Rob, because it's like
TikTok Rob.
That's what his nickname is, because he's come in as like a TikTok guru. He's obviously part of the creative department, so he does all the creative, but he's like a real specific on TikTok. He's great at it. So it's like, that's in the way to keep into the times. It's like, new jobs are like, we need this job, like, let's just make it, and we'll, you know, so
you never know what's going to be
exactly,
like what new job roles will be.
Nice. Oh, amazing. That brings us to the end of the questions.
Wraps it up.
Wow.
It's flown by.
There you go. Yeah.
Amazing. So thank you so much for joining us. It's been amazing having a chat with you and hearing all these stories. And for everyone listening, if you'd like to be an apprentice, then head over to juiceacademy.co.uk and click the Apprentices tab to find some more information. And on the flip side, if you're an employer wanting to hire your own apprentice, which you totally should, then again, head over to the website, onto the Employers tab, and you can get in touch with us there.
Ding.
Amazing.
No, that's brilliant. Thank you both very much one last time. Any last words from yourself you want to share, Becca? You're just goodbye to us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for
And
doing it.
massive thank you to Juice.
Yes.
Become an apprentice.
Yeah.
10 years of Juice.
Yeah.
Yes, that was our last episode that we've just filmed.
You've been
Was
here
10
for-
years of
Do you
juice.
feel old saying that?
Rude.
And on that note, thank you everyone for listening as well.
No, thank you, Becca, very much. And Jack, thank you so much for coming on. Any last words from yourself?
No, just if you no, become an apprentice. Definitely, do it.
Do it.
Don't be scared.
Do it. Become an
Do it.
apprentice. You heard it here.
Amazing. Thank
Awesome.
you everyone for listening, and see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Woo! We did it. I just full on like almost halfway through that.
I was filming. It's like coffee going everywhere. I did I say something wrong?